So I think the way you actually do it properly. Let's see if I can. I'm just going to guess. And obviously I've used it a lot, so I might guess correctly. Hopefully, yeah. The way you're supposed to really do it is you do one line here, and just text size is probably going to be here. All right, so you put the one line there, and then you would go new layer, wouldn't you? And then I think if you press Alt, what's the way we can? Yeah, there you go. I'm trying to remember. There's a way that you can move the text without pressing V, but you have it basically a temporary thing. I'm trying to remember how that is. Is it Control Alt, Control Shift? Well, however it is, it's just trying to remember these things. 2 line, right? And then we would do something like probably would just you can make these in a thing, right? Let's just check that we're selecting it correctly. Interesting. So that isn't actually selecting correctly. Do I put the styles in there? Sure, I've got some styles actually. So basically, let's remove one line. So at least we have a proper selection there now, right? And we draw this in the next box. Yeah. I think it does that weird thing where it basically creates something which you don't basically want. If you want to use like a layer system within the essential graphics panel, you don't do it like that. So now I would actually select it correctly, right? What can you actually do with this? Not that is the answer. I mean, at the very least, we want it to be something like this, right? Interesting that registration point is in the wrong place. I wonder why it put the registration point there. They don't call it that in this. I still think of Flash for this. Yeah, I'm just a bit funny with the anchor point stuff. All right. Yeah, different programs I think have slightly different anchor point approaches. Was that actually putting it in the looks better now, right? I could have sworn there used to be a button for anchor point in here, though. Maybe not. What are we doing with this? 1 line and 2 line. Because that's the whole point. Like, you want to do like a template where you can basically put the whole lot in, so I don't have to keep on doing this stuff again and again because it's really annoying. So you basically want to animate both of these things in one go. I can't remember if it's possible to do it that way. Let's go back to effect controls. Yeah, because that's interesting, right? Right, so basically, yeah, I'm remembering. It's all coming back to me now, don't worry. Like I said, I haven't done this for a while. So basically, on one line and on is there a what options do we have here? Nudge. Oh wow. Yeah. I don't remember seeing these. I'm sure they were there at some point. Why did we do that? It's not very exciting, is it? I could, though. Well, there's different things you could do with this, right? You would have to... You see, I didn't want to create that. Always got to be careful about creating the points when you don't want them. See, that's weird. It created one in there. That's interesting. Because I moved the anchor points, I think that's when it created it. Does this one have it as well? Yeah, because the anchor point is dependent on the size of the actual text. I shouldn't need it, actually. Shouldn't really have it. What happens if I just get rid of it? Why not? I don't know when I created it. All right, so I'm happy with that. Right, so that's basically how you would get, like, if you wanted two different sections of text. I guess I may as well, while we're here, may as well just do everything with it. You know, I was wondering, is it possible to apply one effect to one of the lines and one of to the other lines? Because then, of course, the whole point of this is at this point you have the ability to save the preset. So essentially, it's saving everything which is in this box. I think there's some things you can like choose to exclude certain things, so it becomes more reusable. I can't remember the exact rules with regards to that though. Maybe I should try. Let's just do something simple with the very simple effect. Well, no, you know what really makes more sense to do is to do a slide in from one side, right? So what's like a really quick way to do a slide in from one side? Normally you want it to slide in, and you want the opacity to change, right? But you know what? I'm not even going to have it off the screen. Let's use everything we've got here. Because if you recall, right, when we change this, when we change the position, I kind of wish like the source text stuff wasn't out like that. Like even on this one, it's kind of annoying because it's just too much information, right? You basically really are looking at the transform options in each of your. I guess it's almost like sub objects in a way, isn't it? And this one, right? For instance, I could do what I was just looking at before. Well, I may not have included it. Position is 364, 346.6. Yeah, you could also, you know what you could do is, there's all sorts of things you think about the numbers, like you can, like how you could copy them, reverse them, and all these sort of things. But actually, I'm going to do them separately because this is going to go from here to the middle, and then this one's going to come from the side to the middle. I could do a path from the corners, but well, I can't be bothered. So we'll just have this one coming in, and also if I just do this one to the middle, it's easy. It's entirely possible I could then say I want the other point here to be at a different spot. I think the general consensus is if you have your ending spot where you want, you can mess around with the starting spot. It's kind of, yeah. So we'll just move it in, right? Can I move it to the middle? Is this going to be middle? Yeah, you see it is, right? So you could easily... now how do I... Oh yeah, that's why it's... So basically the length of this period is actually entirely dependent on what I do with this, right? So everything in here is dependent on the length of this thing here. So that's fun. But I'm happy with it. So basically, we're going to end... So we want to end in the middle. So essentially what that means is... I do like my masks and doing this stuff. I may do that in a different episode. Seeing as it's my first video back. So position is happy here. end, and then we'll do. Is that good? Right. So let's try and do it like really like in a really super like defined and accurate. It's not like necessarily the way you would actually do it, but it's the way I would do it, which is not like how most people would do it, because most people are not like me. So we'll do this one in the right. Make sure our position is there, and then we'll do end, and then we'll do the position in the middle, right? See what that looks like. Yeah, I kind of like the way it's kind of interesting when it does that. You can imagine like a clicking noise. I just imagine that clicking. It's like locking into place, right? But I like it to be sharp. With the locking into place, you want it to be sharp, right? And that's the thing. It basically, when I say that, it means I want the speed. You know, if you're turning something, when you do that last little bit, it's sharp. It's whereas the beginning, you're a bit hesitant, and then you go, and then you know what I mean. So it's kind of like that. So that's how you have to look at it. So in order to achieve that effect, I kind of prefer doing it in Flash, really, but so we go back to one line, and we'll probably do the same on both, so it doesn't really matter. So we can just now this is where you can. I think After Effects has got better graphs for this sort of stuff. But this is where you want to get the Beziers out.